Welcome to session 9, Becoming a Pro in Mobile Application Testing. So last time when we were here, we were covering the extra for the security tests, how practically to use OWASP tool. There is no OWASP tool, Alexander. It's the regulations and the guidance that they are providing, and it's collected from different sources. And right now, as you can see in your screen, we're gonna discuss a new proposals for 2016 OWASP Top 10. Let me just tell you a little bit about that. So this is a release candidate. It's not yet official, but by the end of the year or the beginning of 2017, it's gonna become official. And you have to know, just in case you've been asked. So, and as I told you before, they're releasing it every couple of years. We did not actually expect this release because they were telling that the tools that the top 10 guidance that was released in 2014 was good enough. But obviously, after the collecting the information from different sources, they came up with a pretty much updated top 10. And let's just discuss this. So M1, M does not really represent anything, more like a requirement or number. Improper, what we have, improper platform usage, insecure data storage, insecure communication, insecure authentication, insufficient cryptography, insecure authorization, client code quality, code tampering, reverse engineering, and extraneous functionality. Let me just give you a little bit insight what is behind each of these points. So basically the improper platform usage, and what this category covers is misuse of a platform feature or failure to use platform security controls. It might include Android intents, platform permissions, misuse of Touch ID, the keychain, or some other security control that is a part of the mobile operating system. So there are several ways that mobile apps can experience this risk. So let's just go to insecure data storage. And basically, sometimes the categories, they combine categories. So this is a new category altogether, and it's a combination of M2 and M4 on your screen. From Mobile Top 10 2014, that was the latest release. And this covers insecure data storage and unintended data leakage. Then we have an insecure communication, and this covers poor handshaking, incorrect SSL version, it's a software security layer, weak negotiation, clear text communication of sensitive assets, and we know it should be encrypted, right? So this category captures notions of authentication, the end user, or bad session management. So, and then this can include the failing to identify the user at all when that should be required, failure to maintain the user's identity when it is required, and weakness in session management. What is insufficient cryptography? This code applies cryptography to a sensitive information asset. It's like your password or your credit card information or your social security number. However, the cryptography is insufficient in some way. Note that anything and everything related to TLS or SSL goes to M3, to that insecure communication. Also, if the app fails to use cryptography at all when it should, that probably belongs in M2. So this category is for issues where cryptography was attempted, but it was not done correctly. Okay, then we go to insecure authorization, and this is a category to capture any failures in authorization. Okay, it's distinct from authentication issues. Guys, there are a couple of words in English my tongue refuses even after 25 years in the United States. So forgive me, it's just my tongue is not moving. So, and then we have insecure authorization, and if app does not authenticate users at all in a situation where it should, then it's a failure, not it's authentication failure, not authorization failure. Okay, then we have a client code quality, and this was the security decisions via untrusted inputs in a previous 2014 OWASP Top 10. And one of our lesser users categories. This would be the catch-all for code-level implementation problems in a mobile client. Then we have code tampering. And this category covers binary patching, local resource modification, method hooking, method squeezing, and dynamic memory modification. Once the application is delivered to the mobile device, the code and data resources are residents there, as we know. An attacker can either directly modify the code, change the contents of memory dynamically, change or replace the system API that application uses, or modify the application's data and resources. So this can provide the attacker a direct method of subverting the intended use of the software for personal or monetary gain. Reverse engineering, you probably heard the term reverse engineering, and this category includes analysis of the final core binary to determine its source code, libraries, algorithms, and other assets. Software such as IDA Pro, Hooper tool, and other binary inspection tools give the attacker insight into the inner working of the application. Extraneous functionality, and often developers include hidden backdoor functionality or other internal development security controls that are not intended to be released into product environment, but they forget to remove it. So if they accidentally include it into the release, it could make your app vulnerable. So this is pretty much it about the OWASP, the new OWASP. And this is gonna be pretty much, we're at the end of the security test. And before testing, if you happen to be in a security testing, create the checklist. And it should include like a phone identifier such as IMSI or IME. And IMSI is an international mobile subscriber identity. And it's usually the unique number identifying the GSM subscriber. And IMEI is an international mobile equipment identity, and is a unique number to identify GSM, WCDMA, and IDN mobile phones, as well as some satellite phones. And IMEI is only used for identifying the device and has no permanent or semi-permanent relation to the subscriber. So there is a difference. And so basically you have to create this list, like address book, account details, email, and this, and banking, and data, and calendar appointments, and just check the security, from the different levels. Of course, there is tools to use and test it, because sometimes it's most of the time something that is invisible to your eyes. So we use tools. All right, so this is a summary of the tests the industry is using. And as you can see that every one of them has like a drop-down menu for your convenience, just in case you need it. And you see the functional, non-functional tests, and what's included, like interoperability, and what's included in that, usability, language. This is basically the localization. Security testing, you see the always OWASP on the first line. Dynamic testing, static code analysis, and data encryption, that's tools like what I told you before. Installation testing, we're going to be going today through the most thorough details about the industry standards for each mobile application. And of course, memory leak, that is a tools too. So this is kind of, we are pretty much done with the big part of our sessions where the theory is. And we are going to start practicing. I know I gave you guys the tasks to do with the Lomotive, but right now you are using the preset test suite that you guys are using, and it's not always going to be available to you when you start working, because pretty much the small startups companies, they don't use they cannot spend time creating this test suits and provide it to you. So at some point you will be asked to create the test plan, to create the test suite, to create the test cases. And this is what I'm going to teach you today and for the next few sessions. I want you to become really independent. So how to start testing a mobile page? I want you guys to open any application that you are using on your phones, if you have phone handy, and you do, I know, and any page, and let's just go through it, and let's see what we can do just from the first glance. So do you need like 20 seconds to open it, or I can continue? So for example, you open the page. This is a home page, and let's just take a look at it and see how you can divide the page into components and modules. For example, you have like a link to something. You have drop-down menu, the selection menu. So you have to divide, because this is all your test cases. Then you create a list and table modules and testing types and testing, and we're going to be going through that. And then create a variety of variables and conditions within each module. Specify the expected behavior and leave place for actual results. And for troubleshooting, you should create a different list. So, and for each testing categories, you should create like a different list, okay? For functionality, usability, interruption, connectivity, compatibility, performance testing, and security testing. And we went through each of these tests earlier, like a test types, right? And Also, I included one more test, and also you guys have the complete guide of the tests that I placed in your folder on Google Drive. So you will have so much information that all you have to do is just, group it and make a logical connection within each test and follow up with the test cases. And it's important for me to tell this because later in the slides you'll see why. So this is just a quick statistics for the applications, and this is how your consumers is going to behave only on the basis of experience delivered by application. And you'll see that the hugest, number of users are gonna abandon your app if your app is too slow. So, and 29% they're gonna switch immediately if it does not satisfy their needs. And these needs could be so different. We cannot really cover everything because we don't know, but the basic needs should be, the application should deliver the basic functionality that it was intended to do. If it's a calculator, it should, do the numbers, subtract, add, multiply, and so on, so on, and so. And as more complicated the application is, especially if it's a paid application, then it has to perform really well as an intended. So another thing, if the payment, when they're entering the payment information and it takes too long to get to that screen and it takes too long to process, they're gonna abandon it. All right. One of the probably most of the important tests is a GUI test checklist. Why I placed it here and not in a testing types? I think, well, the GUI test is part of the functionality testing. Okay, it can cover many tests. It could be anywhere, but I placed it here, so it's going to be much easier for you to find it. And let's just talk a little bit about it, because this is the first thing users are going to see when they want to install your application. So GUI testing is an inevitable part of the process and has to be given maximum considerations. So GUI is a strong element of user satisfaction, and nothing displeases an application or computer user more than a dysfunctional graphical interfaces. For this reason, app developers and software engineers often contract third party to help them in conducting GUI tests. These tests are done on all aspects of the interface to ensure its functions as desired. So in a brief description, graphical user interface testing refers to tests done on a graphical interface to evaluate its usability. Testing generally covers coloration, navigation, ergonomics, alignment, and layout and instruction. But and there are two main ways of testing graphical interfaces, namely manual and automatic. Automatic testing has in recent time overtaken manual modes of testing GUI. Also, seasoned testers may incorporate the two. Okay, let's just go through the detailed list. And first is navigation. And I want you to take notes of what I'm saying, because just to give you an idea, because this is just the points, but the details we're going to talk about it. So in navigation, check all menus, menu items, and toolbar for navigation. This should be done for both, keyboards if you have the keyboard on your app, or it should be done on just whatever graphic user interface you're using to tap the keys. Okay, formatting, check that all formatting is proper for date entry. Masks and drop-down boxes. Items should be nicely sorted in lists and with the correct formatting. Color and fonts, check all colors, font widths, and fonts for displayed text and field alert. Ensure the field prompts use correct fonts and color with background set to read-only mode. Scrolls. All vertical and horizontal bars used in scrolling should only appear where necessary. Eliminate all that should not appear. Controls and alignments. The window should be resizable. All controls should function as required, and every display should exhibit correct alignment. All content, list items, and labels must be properly aligned. Spelling and grammar. For elements like text displayed in window or screens, captions, arrow messages, field prompts, status bar options, and pop-up text must be of correct spelling and grammar. Justification. The numerical fields should be right justified, while character and alphanumeric fields should be left justified. Check if any for default displays. Look and feel. Check all that multiple windows or screens have the correct look and feel that express transition and allows closing or navigation back. Default and shortcut keys. All shortcuts and shortcut keys must be defined and should be checked to ensure they work correctly. Tab. Ensure the tab order is from top left and moves bottom right. Remove disabled fields which are often marked as read-only fields from the tab sequence. The tab should load in time and should be displayed in sequence. Opening input. Test whether the pointer on the first input when a new window is open. Alternatives. The menu command should have alternative hotkey sequence that can work correctly and remove any duplicate hotkey from the screen. Behavior. Test and validate the behavior of different controls such as a radio and push button or list box buttons, among others. Modality and multiple windows screens. Test to validate that the windows or screens are modal and no other feature outside the window can be accessed when it's still active. Contrast. Command buttons that are not in use should be grayed out to distinguish them from active commands. Images. Check through the entire application for broken images. Test the size of used and uploaded graphics and check all burners and respective sizes. So this is a basic and requirements to do the graphic user interface checklist and follow it. Okay, another and this is pretty much what we use in the industry. We use our own checklist for any applications that is on our devices. So, and this pretty much checklist, I'm not asking you to memorize it, but you have to kind of remember those points and follow them, because this is one of the highest industry standards. And wherever you go, on the internet or just Google it or whatever you're doing, this list and next few slides is always gonna follow you. So it's very easy to find in case you forget, but let's just go through it. So application installation and update. You need to check application installation from various methods and ensure application is installed properly through like iTunes Store, Google Play, or third-party app store. And another thing which is important, the application update scenario. Check that user is able to update application smoothly. Application sign up and log in. And it is important to check existing users, that existing users are able to log in successfully and able to recover password in case of recovery. New user sign-up process needs to be verified so that your app makes seamless first impression on the first-time users. Then you have to go through the subscription scenarios, like App Store purchase, and it is important that users should not stuck with the purchasing the application. In case of any problem and money debited from user's account, the matter should be immediately get escalated to support team for immediate refund. In-app purchase, testers need to ensure in-app purchase process is smooth. And the app need to check license agreements and they should be legitimate and in accordance with planning. Application sanity suite. Functionality sanity suite is essential to ensure application major functionality is working as expected. Then you have to make sure that the application works in a different mobile modes like a silent or airplane. You should be, and you probably already checked the locomotive. You know, we do have a test case, you know, with the airplane mode, and we do have some problems with that. Then your app should be user-friendly. Make sure that user is able to easily understand how to use application and go through the complete workflows. Then we have a network connectivity. It's one of the biggest cases. So you have to check your application in a different connectivity scenarios, and it's also varies from test to test. So you have to test your application when its connectivity is continuous, when the network switched while you are still, you know, on the move. Sometimes we have dead zones. Sometimes we do have the low connectivity, and always you know, check your app, how is it working for 2G and 3G, because we're pretty lucky to have 4G pretty much everywhere. But believe it or not, so many people in other countries, they're still on 2G and 3G, as 3G is probably the highest for them. So, okay, then we have a data safe condition, and there are many ways to save data in mobile. And testers need to check all such cases so the app remains robust and reliable all the time. Number one, when data saved on mobile memory, application access them easily. When memory is full, you have to check how application handles this scenario. Then very soon, very often we have the SD cards, and when data is saved on SD card, application access them easily, the files. What happens when SD card is removed? How, you know, how the files are accessed? It should not be, but how your application is behaving while you're removing SD card. When data saved on cloud, applications should be accessed the files easily. And how the data recovery is going on when connection is lost or SD card is damaged. Then we have a mobile interruptions. We need to check application does not affect the mobile basic functions like phone calls, messages, media players, camera, lock and unlock screen scenarios, and turning on and off the GPS and accelerometer. Accelerometer, it's usually for mobile games. It's the and then we have a battery consumptions, and one of the first tests that I ask you to do is to check the battery, because it's one of the most important test cases. It might seem easy, but if you think of if you look and imagine the bigger picture, this is one of the most important tests that we should be doing. How much battery power your application consumes. Just think that you're out of charger, and you just want to play with your app, and all of a sudden it drains and drains and drains, and then you cannot use GPS to get home. So this is kind of a very big issue. And believe it or not, when we started testing Lomotive, it was draining the battery so badly that people were like, wow, I played for 15 minutes, I played for 30 minutes, I am always out of charge. So we need to check application does not drain mobile battery unnecessary under following conditions. So there are several conditions. Active screen, running an application when mobile screen is active, and check how much battery our application consumes. Tester can also run application in background and check battery consumption. Then we should check the idle screen, and testers can run application when mobile screen is idle and check battery consumption. Then we have mobile memory utilization, and testers need to check that application does not utilize more memory, which maybe degrades application performance, eventually degrading overall mobile performance. Mobile data utilizations. Testers need to check and compare application data consumption with a competitor application. So, actually, when we are comparing the performance, it's a very, very common practice. If you have a competitor who is running your application, who is running their own application that is similar, that has similar functionality as yours. So it's always better to check. Oh, okay, let me see how they're behaving. And when I was working in the high-tech industry for 15 years, I was mostly dealing with the hardware and the multimedia. And that was the biggest things that we were doing. We were just comparing our competitors' hardware and software, and we looked through the tests and hardware compatibility tests and the performance testing for the multimedia because we had to do the releases to Microsoft. And sometime when I was working in our office in Microsoft, there was time I was working here in Fremont, but we had an office there, so I had to travel because I was responsible for certifications. And very often I was negotiating with the hardware quality labs that, hey, listen, why are you failing us? Because our competitors had a passing results, and this was the biggest negotiating point. So always compare with your competitors. All right, then we have a screen scrolling application screen. The application pages should be easily scrollable, and mobile virtual keyboard should pop up wherever necessary. Localization, guys, one of the hugest things right now in the industry. And localization content check may be done in detailed testing. Still, tester need to check the following aspects before release. Why I'm saying this? It's usually the whole teams that are dedicated for the localization. You know, they usually speak the different languages and they're professionals, but still there are several kind of points you guys would need to check. It doesn't matter what language you are talking and at what level of localization, and sometimes we call it L10. Okay, so just remember the term L10. If you see it, this is localization. So we have to always check the date format, because as you know, many of you live in Russia, many of you live in the United States, and we do have different date formats. When I'm dealing with Russian format, and if it's under the 12, I'm always like, is it the month or the date first? So it's just kind of, it's getting into the brain. So I'm thinking always what date, what I'm seeing, and always convert. So then postal code, some country postal code contains alphabetics too. Direction. Need to test language direction. Some languages are left justified and some are right justified, like a Hebrew language, it's from right to left. The Arabic language is from right to left. Payable amount, tax calculation may differ from country to country, and we need to ensure payments are made as per local rules. Another big thing is a conversion, okay? Currency conversion needs to be taken care of. So if you are having the application, like for example, the Amazon, it's a web application, of course, but they're using the currency conversion because they have, their own Amazons in, for example, in Germany or in Hungary or in other countries. So they have to use the currency conversion in case somebody wants to pay in a different currency from that country. Then we have new OS release support, and this kind of goes to the mostly to device fragmentation. It belongs, but it's never, it never fails just to check it. And we need to ensure all the previous crashes are fixed to ensure smooth functionality. Crashes, problems, and this is what I gave you guys. I gave you these bugs which was transferred from the from our original bug tracking database. And please take it seriously because it's kind of the, it's our project. We have responsibility with Lomotiv. Okay, then we need to confirm correct implementation of AdMob or other mobile ad platforms, so that it does not crash the application. Also, before the releases, testers need to confirm that there is no general crashes at all. Okay, guys, and here I'm going to go through the kind of your mantra, Talmud, Bible of the mobile application testing. And this is gonna be the points that you guys always gonna be testing. So, installation, you have to verify that application could be installed successfully. And another thing, I'm just gonna give you a little bit more details of this. So the installation of application is being tested, and the application must install without error. Guys, for you, this is very essential that during installation, or before you install the application, note the version number that is presented to the users. The version number must match that specified during submission. So basically, and it does not matter in what industry you are working, when you're getting the build, when you're getting release, when you're getting any package from the developers, it should state the version number, and I highly recommend also note the time it was released, just to protect yourself, because sometimes developers, they do weird things. So that is my kind of advice. So if you're grabbing the package from the server, or it's just you're transferring to your computer, make sure it's not only the date, the version number, also note the time it was released. So another thing, if you receive the package, you know exact version number, and if this package is a release candidate to go to the to the App Store or Google Play, make sure they are submitting the same version number, because this is what you've been testing. It should match. So verify that the application has successfully been installed on your device by navigating to the area on the phone where new applications are installed. The application should present one or more icons on the phones. All right, then we go as important, uninstallation. So when you uninstall the application, it should be uninstalled without any errors. So to check, just from the a user side of the story, you navigate to where you would expect to see the application icon, and the application icon must no longer be present on the device. So if you're using another method to verify successful uninstallation of the application, then ensure the application is uninstalled without any garbage, without leaving anything behind, and just verify there is no garbage left. So it's kind of very important. Then, guys, we have network cases. And for example, you guys are running the application, and all of a sudden there is a network problem. Okay. The application, well, first of all, the user should get error message that there is something wrong. Okay. And then you have to verify that the user is able to establish data call when the network is back. We call data call, it's not, it can be anything. We just call it data call. Whatever operation you are trying to perform, this is the data calls. You send the request, you get the response. This is the data call, okay? All right. For example, you guys are having having your application running, and there is a voice call coming. Just the phone rings, and we basically have 3 conditions, right? And this is all your test cases. This is a subcategory for its condition called accept, call rejection, and call establish. So verify that user, it's you in this case, can accept phone call at the time when app is running and can resume back from the same point. Then we can just reject phone call. We just press the end button or whatever it is. And when the phone app is popping up while you're doing. So you should be able to return to your app from the point where you received this notification, like the phone app popped up screen. And call establish. Verify that you can establish a voice call in case when app data call is running in the background. So, for example, you just you decided to tap the icon and whatever you were doing, coming back, and the app is still running. So, all right, there's a couple of things I want you to do with this particular test case. When you're running Lemotive, ask your friend or your spouse or whatever it is, whoever it is, to perform this particular test case. See how the Lemotive behaves at this point. All right. Then everybody love our SMS, okay? Verify that you can get SMS alert when app is running, and verify that you can resume back from the same point after reading the SMS. And guys, right now we have like on probably most of the devices, if not all, before we just received the notification, right? That was the icon, and we had to basically abandon the app and just go to the SMS icon and retrieve our SMS. Right now, most of the devices have like a pop-up message on the top, and you have to make sure that in both cases your app is working. So while you're using that pop-up box to reply, and at the same time you have to check how your app behaves when you just abandon it to just go to the SMS box. This is another test case that I would like you to check at home. And same like with the phone call, run the Lemotive, see if your buddy can send you a short SMS, how the Lemotive is working on this particular, in these particular conditions. Unmap keys. Another thing, hold on just 1 second. No, that's fine. Unmap keys, this is the keys, verify that if they're unmapped. Okay, I probably should explain first what is unmapped. Mapping is when the developers implementing the functionality into the key. When the keys are unmapped, it means that there is no functionality implemented. They should be grayed out, so the user wouldn't tap it. All your keys and on your app, if they're active, it should be having the same colors, or if they're unmapped, they should be grayed out, not to trick the users into believing that there is something that should be working. So another thing, we have an application logo. Application logo is pretty much the face of your company. You have to make sure that the application logo is intact. It has the same color. It appears where it should be appearing, and it should be in the application manager. And the most important things, the user should be able to open the app when tapping on the logo. Okay. Then we have a splash screens. What is the splash screen? A splash screen is an image that appears while a game or program is loading. It should appear if you're doing something. This is like a notification and the user should be able to make sure it's doing what it's doing. So the splash screen should be displayed. Okay, if for example the user is downloading, it should say is downloading, or just please wait, or files are being transferred. It could be any a notification to let the user know that there is something going on in progress. Low memory, verify the app displays proper error message when device memory is low, and it should be able to exit properly without any without causing any problems for the device or for the app. Clear back key, it should bring the user to the previous screen. And end and home key, it should navigate to the native device screen. Okay, please remember there's two conditions, like a clear back key going to the previous screen, and end home key verify that you abandon the app, you close it, and you go back to the native device screen. Okay, visual feedback. Verify that there's a visual feedback is popping up when response to any action takes more than 3 seconds. Okay, this is an industry standard. We do not want to, you know, make the user worry, you know, what's going on. Continual keypad entry. This is one, again, it's one of very popular tests in any industry. It's when your app is running, you invoke, you know, the keyboard and start tapping and tapping just randomly for, you know, on many letters, and see if your app can handle this. Very, very popular test. Then we should be able to exit an application. Then guys, it's a charger effect. When you inserting and removing the charger, your application should not respond, you know, violently. So it should perform like it was. Maybe it, you know, it can give you like a half, like a split of second delay or something. This is normal. But when you see there's something going on, when you especially plugging in the charger and all of a sudden the app is hanging or doing some weird things, this is a bug. You have to report it. Low battery. This is something that we are testing too. Just see on how much power your app can perform without any problems. Number 17, you know, with the devices right now, especially Apple devices, it's impossible to remove the battery. But for Android, you know, who is going to be in there like a clear mind to remove the battery just because? So this is the case. You please don't do it at home. I don't need you to do this test. But removal of the battery, this is basically when we drop our phone. Okay, so do not need to do any special case, and see how the application is handling this. Battery consumption, this is the test that we were doing. You don't need to repeat this. And application start and restart, press, you know, tap to open the app, and see how long it takes your application to start. So industry standard app does not take longer than 25 seconds to start. So if it's longer, then there is something to be aware of. Then application side effects. It's just like, people, make sure you leave and don't cause problem to people, so the same with the application. It should not, if your application like Lamotive is, they're using camera, they're using your the links to the Facebook and other apps should not have any problems. Also, we have the external incoming communication infrared, and it should be gracefully handling when the communication that was made via infrared is coming. And also the Bluetooth interrupt, and this is the last case. And when a file transfer is taking place with Bluetooth, sometimes the app, they can handle this. It should not be paused or should be resumed or from the same point after the transfer is done. So this is kind of your mantra points, guys. It can be applied to any application that you're using. And I need maybe 5 more minutes with you guys, and we're gonna finish. And you see the screen, okay? This is gonna be your homework, but not for Thursday, okay? It's gonna be for next Tuesday, and you have the slides, and you have the test types that I explained to you. You have the complete guide. You have all the industry standards, okay? And I want you to start being independent and start testing on your own something. We're gonna start from something very, very simple. This is my homework to you, and let me explain to you what I want you to do. You have, for example, a very, very simple application, okay? And your application have just one screen, okay? For example, in here. It's a live application which has only 3 buttons, okay? Button A for audio 1, button 2 for audio, B for audio 2, and button C for audio 3. So you have 3 different audios, and you are free to assume your own, this app can do anything you want to, okay? Anything you want to, and apply every single knowledge that I gave you with, functionality, performance, interruption tests, all these tests, and create as many test cases for this simple app as you can. Is this clear? Okay? Write as many test cases as you can using all the material that I gave you in the last couple of lectures with the testing types, testing guidance. Where should you write it down? Just on a piece of paper. I do not need you to send anywhere, okay? This is for learning purposes only. We're gonna go through it. Just put it on a piece of paper, okay? You do not, Jonah, you do not need to send it. This is for learning purposes only. I'm not grading you. I'm just want to make sure that you guys understand, okay? And next session on next Tuesday, because I give you a week to do that, because beside this, I'm gonna give you some more regression testing and some more test suits scenarios that we're using, and this is how it's gonna go. Okay, so you have plenty of time to write as many test cases as you can think of. Okay, this is the end of session 9, and thank you guys for being with me this evening. Good night.